Hey guys, what's going on? I got a Dark Elf replay for you today. I'm going to take a bit more time with it, try and be a little bit more cinematic. I don't have a cinematic camera installed. Might look into that if I can get better results with it. But we have some pretty cool units today. We have the Blades of the Blood Queen, a very cool unit of Harganeth Executioners, with I think 12 more melee defense than the regular Harganeth Executioners, as well as the Guardian passive, which is 18% physical resist to lords and heroes around them. And we have 3 lords and heroes in this army. We have 2 Death Hags, one on each flank. They both have the item. It's like a sword. I forget what it's called. Death Hag, come on. A sword that is -5 melee attack and -12 speed to everything around them in a 40-meter range. So that covers almost into the front line here. And this one over here provides the same effect. So I get a -5 melee attack and -12 speed to anyone that comes in this little ball here, which is all hidden, by the way. Before things get too engaged in the front line, I go over my army quickly. We got 3 Dread Spears, 2 Dark Shards with shields. Probably didn't need the shields, could have gone without shields. Playing against Chaos. Not too worried about massive missile fire here. They will have like throwing axes on their horses, but not a whole lot else. Pretty elite army here with 2 Blackguards of Naggarond and the Blades of the Blood Queen. I have Morathi up in the sky, like I talked about. I'm really enjoying having Morathi either on foot or in the sky because she has an item that stacks with those Death Hags. And the item is Heartrender and Dark Sword, which is -9 melee defense and -9 melee attack to everything around it. So if you get these guys on top of each other, it's a cumulative -14 melee attack, -12% speed, and -9 melee defense constantly to everything within that range. And then you have stuff like Soul Blight, which lowers armor and weapon damage. And she has a great spell list, actually. Pit of Shades is really good. I sometimes drop Power of Darkness. Soul Stealer is great, gives her an ability to heal a little bit. And Melkoths. Melkoths, I think, is a super underrated spell from newer players like myself. The speed reduction is actually pretty useful. We're going to use it to great effect here. So anyways, I also have the Raven Heralds, because I figured Chaos would really struggle against a flying crossbow armor-piercing unit. These guys are pretty quick. They have great damage, but they have pretty limited ammunition. And I noticed that sometimes their shots aren't that accurate compared to the Dark Shards. But I guess that would make sense, riding on a little Pegasus like these guys are. So anyways, I pull up the Raven Heralds to hit this Mana Core, because I can see it. Most of his army is still hidden for me. You can see the little hidden icon here, so I can't really see that. But we're going to hit play, get this into full speed here. So he chases off the Raven Heralds, though, with his Manticore. So I'm going to pop Melkoths on it to slow it down and give my Raven Heralds time to escape. And Morathi is anti-large with a very good stat line, 55-40, and plus she saps the opponent's stats. So she's going to come in and lay a big smacking on this this Manticore here and cause it to rampage. As soon as it rampage, I start pulling back towards my forces over here. I want to get that Manticore in the firing line of my 2 units of Dark Shards. It should go down pretty quickly if I manage to do that. So I run off with Morathi, I pull my Raven Heralds back. I don't really want them skirmishing with the Marauder Horsemasters, because these guys do have 37 missile damage. Nothing to sneeze at. And with 2 units of them, they would definitely outtrade the Raven Heralds, so got to be careful there. He does have some dogs on the ground, and Sarthoreal, who has a lot of mass and 75% magic resistance, I believe. Or, sorry, missile resistance. 60% missile resistance. They must have... I swear he had... I swear he had 75, and he only has 60 now. Yeah, and then he has a front line of a couple Chaos Riders with great weapons, a couple Chaos Warriors, a Chosen with halberds, thinking about some large target. Maybe he was thinking I would bring a dragon or a Hydra or something. He's got the Mirror Guard in the center, very cool looking unit, as well as some Aspiring Champions to give bonus leadership. I guess that makes sense if you plan on having your Lord away from the fighting, but Aspiring Champions, in my experience, just get taken out really quickly. They're a unit I really want to have work, but I never managed to get them to work right. Anyways, so the Manticore gets in here, and his rampage breaks. So I Melkoths him again, and keep shooting with the Dark Shards, and I managed to take him down to like a quarter health here. which is just fantastic getting that flying support out of the air since I do have 2 key flying units, I feel like. At this point, they're starting to see my formation here, but I don't really want to move. I want to keep this formation together so I can get the full effect of the AoE debuffs from the Death Hags, and eventually Morathi, because Morathi is anti-large, and I know Sarthoreal is gonna pound his way into my line to try and go for those Dark Shards, so I'll be using Morathi to sit on him, because she's very quick. She's 105 speed, and she doesn't have great mass on her Dark Pegasus mount. I don't actually know what that mount is called. I don't think I'll be able to see it here either. But anyways, Sarthoreal coming in, laying down some smacking on these Dark Shards. I do drop a Soul Stealer on him because I have taken some damage on Morathi, and I was kind of hoping that he would be a little bit more near his allies here, since it is an AoE Soul Steal, or healing ability, or drain ability. You know, anyways, I pulled the Black Art of Naggarond onto Sarthoreal. My Dark Shards are kind of screwed, but they're safer in the box than out of it. So I try to keep them in, but these guys get, I think, routed or terrified off by Sarthoreal, which is too bad for them. They do have Transmutation of Lead on them, though, so by running away, they actually are helping my troops quite a bit. Anyways, the Guardian passive from the Blades of the Blood Queen, giving my Death Hags 30% physical, or 18% physical resist. I do drop a Pit of Shades here. I'm not sure if it doesn't do that much against cavalry. It does seem to actually grab a few units and keep them here, which is interesting, but doesn't actually kill any of them. I only see 1 or 2 dead models here. And this is getting a little frustrating, these Horse Masters, because they actually are doing quite a bit of damage. And the melee fight's going pretty well, but, you know, if we slow down and take a look at it here, he's got a full unit of Chaos Warriors coming to this flank over here. The Dark Shards are pretty much out of the equation. I mean, they've broken through. He has the full unit of Chosen with Halberds getting in here now. Morathi is a large target, and is Chosen with Halberds on her. These Dread Spears are holding admirably against the Chaos Marauders with great weapons. I mean, really demonstrating the power that the debuffs of Morathi, and because look at the stats, they have 11 melee attack and defense right now. Those Chaos Marauders are not doing much. 25 melee attack on these Aspiring Champions, 3 melee attack on these Poison Warhounds. These guys are super debuffed, and it's really allowing my cheaper infantry to hold out against the superior infantry of Chaos in a lot of ways. The Blackguard and the Bloodblade, Blades of Blood, Bloodblades, those guys are super elite infantry, and they'll hold for a long time, but he's going to drop a Burning Bolts here, I believe, or whatever it's called. The Lore of Metal spell. Ooh, it's coming down. It's pretty coming down. I've never actually watched the spell deploy. It's like in multiple bursts, and it's going to come down and spray right into my Hargoneth Executioners, and Hargoneth Executioners and Blackguard of Naggarond, and do a decent amount of damage. Doesn't seem to actually get any kills. They still have all 60 models, but the Warp Chicken goes down to Morathi in the Blackguard. Morathi is an excellent anti-large duelist. Look at that 69 melee attack right now. She must be... Murderous Mastery's going off. That's why. She only has 55. But yes, I use the Raven Heralds to kind of start pushing off the skirmishing units. And now the infantry fight's starting to swing my way. Now that I've killed Sarthoreal, his leadership is disintegrating, and these Chosen, very elite infantry are running. This flank is still holding up, but it's not much longer. And this is interesting. I now see these Chaos Knights with Lances getting deployed. I wonder if he forgot about them, or if he was saving them in reserve and just... Sarthoreal went down very quick there. Like, I missed it in that replay, watching it through with you guys. But, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, this Death Hag Morathi synergy with your low-tier troops is really powerful. I mean, it's kind of similar to using corpse cards to buff up zombies, but in reverse, since you're lowering the stats of your opponent. I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to play a couple more games on ladder, and I'll see if I have a good one for you guys against a different faction. I want to see how it works against the Dwarves. I suspect the Dwarves' high armor might make this a little tougher. Well, I guess Chaos had really high armor too. Yeah, I just feel like this is going to be harder against Dwarves than against Chaos. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope you guys learned something. Let's take a look at the end screen here too, before I say goodbye. Yeah, Marath only got 4 kills. She was sitting on the Manticore and Sarthoreal the whole time. The Death Hags, holding strong, given their debuffs. These Dread Spears, you know, held out pretty well. The Dark Shards got pretty wrecked. If I'm doing it again, I obviously would take them without shields, save a little bit of money there. Maybe spread out my lines a little bit more, but it doesn't seem to synergize that well with the Death Hags is the problem. I feel like I need some Dark Shards, and I really like the mobile flying Dark Shards, basically, because these guys allow me to have that armor-piercing ranged effect, but not have to defend them. Because when you want to defend archers, in my opinion, you want to spread out your lines a lot. You want to have good depth, so that when something hits you, there's space between your archers and the unit that gets hit, so they can't just pull through immediately. Though you can pull in reinforcements to strengthen certain positions, and you can't really do that with this build. So I might try this with less Dark Shards. Although I guess against like someone like dwarves, they don't have the mobility of chaos, so I don't have to worry as much about getting outflanked, and I can probably use the Dark Shards to better effect. Anyways, it's just something to think about for this build, I guess. The Dark Shards may not have been a good pick. I really like the Raven Heralds, though. Yeah, as far as chaos went, I mean, as I think, without knowing that you're going up against this kind of thing, I think this is a pretty good build. I mean, I don't know about the Chaos Feral Manticore as a pick, because like if I do go in the air, I feel like Lokir is gonna just wreck this thing and not suffer too much for it. If I'm not in the air, you have a Manticore, but it's just gonna rampage as soon as you dive into Dark Shards, and you're gonna lose control of it. It's gonna swamp down by Dread Spears or Blackguard. I'm not sure if I know this by itself being a good pick. I don't remember if the whatchamacallit, the Exalted Heroes, I don't remember if those guys get flying mounts eventually, if they're always on foot. But maybe you could have an Exalted Hero with it, but they don't have like the cold-blooded de-rampaging effect. I guess they would just give it more leadership or something. Aspiring Champions, like I said earlier, I'm not too sure about that pick as well. I haven't had great success with them, but if you have a good reason as to why Aspiring Champions or where they work, I would love to know, because it's a unit that I think are really cool looking, and I love like the 12 unit monstrous infantry kind of units. They're just so cool to me, and to have them be like just like I guess more normal size soldiers is pretty neat too. But I think kind of like Croxigors, they are in a weird spot. Chaos Warhounds, poison, classic and important. I think you need the cavalry as chaos. I think you need to be more mobile. You can't just bring pure infantry. I've tried it a few times and lost very heavily. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting matchup. Well played to my opponent there. It wasn't looking so good for a minute, but I think Sarthoreal got taken up by a Morathi more quickly than either is expected. Anyways, have a nice day, y'all, and I think I'm going to upload a second video later, so hope to see that. Take it easy.